It's your boy Leo Flowers. Are we recording? I think we are. Oh, this is great. How we doing, boys and girls? I'm here with another book review. Uh, Today is going to be Love. Can you see it? Love. There it is. Love Warrior. Now, um, I didn't actually read it, but I listened to it on audiobook. I drive too much. Some of you know, I'm a personal trainer by day, stand-up comedian by night. So I don't get a lot of time to just sit down and read. I'm always on the go, on the plane, in the car, on the train, that kind of thing. With that said, Love Warrior is a great book. Like, everybody should read it, especially now. And here's why. Now, it's by Glennon Doyle, who she's so basically it's about this woman who's married to this guy, and they're just not really connecting. They're not having sex. They're kind of going through the motions, raising I think two kids, and and she's just trying to figure out why does she not want to physically connect with him, and all he wants to do is physically connect with her, and then they deal with it basically by she resorts to food and drugs and alcohol, even having to go into rehab, and he deals with it through porn. And so the whole thing is about how she's dealing with the pain of trying to find someone to feeling disconnected. She's always felt disconnected, like she's been dealing with drugs since she was a little girl, and she thought, you know, this guy was the love of her life, and now she feels disconnected with him, and not to ruin it, but it doesn't work out for him. But that's not the story though. It's not about if they make it or not. It's really about how they deal with their pain, which is why she calls it, I guess, Love Warrior, because they're really not battling love. They're really both battling pain. And the reason why I think everybody should read this book, even though this is known as like a chick book or just a book for women, is because the opioid epidemic in this country is insane. It's going up 10% every year. 10%. And it's like number 10. More people die from drug overdosing than guns, than firearms, which is an insane statistic. Um, and the fact that it's going up 10% every year is something that means that we need to keep an eye on this. And uh, it's not just crackheads. It's not just poor people. It's not just minorities. It's doctors, lawyers, nurses, police officers, politicians. Like, these are people who went to Harvard, Yale, who are making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and they're still falling victim um, to these painkillers. It's like we reached a point where nobody thinks they should have to go through pain, and that's what's so great about this book is she talks about how by how did she say it? She said by why, oh, my screen, okay. um she said by using painkillers, whether it's food, sex, TV, or drugs, to transport herself from her reality, she's missing the opportunity to transform. I was like, what? It's like, because on the other side of pain is growth, right? I mean, not in every situation. If you have knee pain, don't be doing lunges. I'm not saying that, but stop doing lunges. Stop doing what you're doing that's causing a knee pain. But when we're talking about like emotional pain, um, or psychological pain, sometimes it doesn't require us to put something in. It requires us to just sit there and just, and that's what meditation is, right? Like, I had neck surgery years ago, and it still bothers me it bothers me every day, right? Like, I'm aware of it a lot of the times, and but when I sit down and I meditate, I'm not aware of it at all. Not one piece of me is like, oh, my neck is killing me. When I'm driving, it hurts. Sometimes when I bend over to pick up certain things, it bothers me. But when I sit down and I meditate, when I just allow myself to be still, the neck pain goes away. And that's what I really love about this book is she really talks about how when you don't deal with your pain, right, then you end up passing it on to somebody else. Whether it's your children, your boss, your employees, your coworkers, your friends, your family, strangers. You can be in a car, you honk, you flip somebody off, and I've done that. I just did that the other day. Like, man, but that's because I'm doing this Candida cleanse, whatever. Um, and when you don't deal with your pain, it is gonna show up somewhere. Like when you sweep something under the rug, it's still under the rug. At some point, the rug runs out of space, and then you gotta clean under the rug, and it's gonna come out, or you're gonna breathe it, whatever. You're gonna breathe it in, or whatever. So, what's great about Glennon Doyle is not just the story of uh, her dealing with her emotional pain within her marriage. She the writing, like she's so descriptive in the metaphors and the analogies, and I see why women follow her on a blogger on her. She has a blog, I guess, that talks about it. Now, here's what's really interesting: is the entire journey of the book. And here's a spoiler, so you could cut this video off now, all right? But this is really what I found is here's what's really interesting about the whole journey is she is talking about how her and her husband aren't able to connect, and he ends up cheating on her, and they go into therapy for years, and they try to reconnect, and it doesn't really happen. Um, and at the end of the book, they get a divorce, and of course, she goes on to become more successful because she has her New York Times best-selling book, Love Warrior. But then, post book, post publication, right? We find out she's a lesbian. Yeah, the whole book. You're thinking like, man, I can't believe this dude cheated on her, and she's a great woman, and she's trying to, you know, she's trying to grow and learn from her mistakes. I mean, he is too. Like, but a lot of the book, she's dogging him a little bit. Like, you kind of like, man, who is this dude? Like, she needs to lead this dude. And then you find out she just not is not even into dudes. She got, as a matter of fact, I think a couple months ago she just got married, which I was like, man, this has to be a movie. I mean, she's making a killing off this book, and kind of put my boy out to roast, and made him feel bad for wanting to be with her physically, right? And she's just like, he just wants it all the time, and I just don't feel connected to him, and I don't know why he just needs it so much. And it turns out she's playing for the other team. That's some M Night Shyamalan type thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, come on, like you couldn't have written like if this was a movie, we'd be like, word, that's how we doing it. Yeah, that's how she doing it. But with that said, it's still a great book to read because, like I said, I mean, she lays everything out in terms of her journey struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, and then relationships, and like just, I mean, she was a freak. She got a freak on. You know what I'm saying? In college and high school, just trying to play the game. And I think the other big takeaway from the book is that um, when we try when we are when we try to do something or try to be something that we're not, um, the fact that there is pain and that we try to swallow it, that's a sign. It's a sign that you're not being congruent. It's a sign that you're not headed down the right path. If I mean, like for instance, there's so many. You think about all the different celebrities who are successful and making money, but yet they have drug addictions. And for some of them, it's possible that even though they're successful at what they're doing, they should not be doing what they're doing. Maybe I get it. You're making millions of dollars as a rock star, but maybe you should, be a manager at Sears or something, or just a different avenue, or keep doing what you're doing, but maybe the way you're doing it isn't the best way. Maybe there's another way you can do it um, without putting yourself in these situations where you are addicted. For instance, like for stand up and personal training, like there's a lot of travel involved. And I was at a point where I was doing a lot and I was rarely sleeping. And the less sleep I got, the less willpower I had. And I noticed like I was binge eating more and like stress eating. And I was like, hold on, okay, what? I definitely love doing both. Um, but how can I do it in a way where I don't feel stressed and I don't feel um, uh, binge eating or I'm losing sleep and then I burn out. How do you prevent that? So I found a way to manage both so that I'm not stress eating or binge eating or fall. Like there have been times where I almost fell asleep at the wheel. So sometimes it's not stopping what you're doing, but just changing how you're doing it. I'm gonna cut the review off there. Get the book. It's a great book. I think men and women should read it. Like I said, for if for nothing else, I think we all have something that we might be addicted to, or an unhealthy way of dealing with our pain. And this is just a great book to show you somebody else's path, and then to help you, hopefully get you started in the right direction of dealing with your pain in a more healthy way. It's your boy Leo Flowers. Get the book Love Warrior. I'll be uploading more book reviews. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and let me know what books you're reading. And I'll see you soon. Peace.